An AM Best market-wide survey intended to gauge the impact of artificial intelligence on the insurance industry found that while AI may be impossible to ignore, fast adoption on an overall industry-wide scale may not be in the cards either. Here to discuss the report is Edin Imsirovic, Director, and Kaitlin Piasecki, Industry Research Analyst, both at AM Best. And Edin, the report headline suggests insurers may not be ready to completely embrace AI. Could you explain the dynamic?
Absolutely, but I would first add maybe a little bit of a nuance behind the headline. So the survey doesn't necessarily suggest that insurers are sitting on the sidelines with AI. We do see meaningful engagement. 41% report active use across core business areas, and 63% have a formal AI policy, and actually 66% expect to increase AI investment over the next year or two. So the issue is not whether insurers are embracing AI, the issue is whether they're ready to scale it. And there's a difference between AI adoption and AI transformation, right? So as you know, many companies are piloting AI or using it in select functions, but fewer have really embedded it deeply enough into the enterprise to change how the company actually runs. And you can actually see this gap in the numbers. Nearly 60% of respondents expect AI to significantly transform their business model within the next 1 to 3 years, but only about 19% say that their AI implementation is already at an advanced stage. And roughly 2/3 say that it's either too early to tell whether AI has created a competitive advantage or that no advantage has been realized yet. So the ambition is clearly there, but the realized value is still uneven. In other words, the technology may be maturing faster than the operating models around it. And this execution reality is really reflected in a survey as 53% of respondents describe themselves as cautious pacekeepers rather than first movers, which makes sense for a regulated and legacy-heavy industry with fiduciary duty to the policyholders. Scaling AI here requires more than just the tools, right? It requires the data readiness and the workflow redesign and the right governance around both of those things. And this is why I don't interpret the headline as insurers resisting AI. I interpret it as insurers moving carefully from experimentation to disciplined execution. Certain aspects of AI may be ready for insurance, but many insurers are still working to make their operating models ready for AI.
So were you surprised by what challenges insurers said were the largest in implementing AI?
So John, I wasn't necessarily surprised by the top challenges. The top 3 being the data readiness at 45%, security and privacy at 43%, and legacy system integration of 41% are exactly where I would expect the friction to be in this industry. And to me, those are not really 3 separate problems. They're different expressions or manifestations, if you will, of the same underlying issue, which is whether the enterprise data and system environment is mature enough to support AI safely and at scale. As you know, insurance companies have an enormous amount of data, but that data is often spread across older systems and fragmented workflows. AI can create a lot of value from that data, but only if the data is clean, connected, well-governed, in other words, usable. So I was not surprised by those results. They show that insurers understand the real friction isn't the AI, the real friction is the foundation underneath it. But having said that, what did surprise me somewhat was what actually ranked lower, right? Third-party model risk came in at only 18%, even though 68% of respondents said that third-party solutions are one of the sources of their AI development. So in a regulated industry where insurers remain accountable for the AI that their vendors deploy, I would have expected that risk to sit a little bit higher. So my expectation is that this issue may move higher on risk radars as adoption matures and as supervisory focus on vendor oversight continues to increase.
Kaitlin, what areas are insurers looking to use AI to address?
So according to survey respondents, companies have fully deployed AI primarily for IT developer productivity, underwriting, claims, and other administrative operational tasks. AI tools have really helped enable insurers to automate many administrative and operational tasks, such as data entry and document manipulation. And then underwriters are utilizing agentic AI, which analyzes large data sets and deciphers, which applicants are considered low risk, which would require less attention from an underwriter who can then pivot their attention and expertise to assess more complex cases. The claims department utilizes AI for document review and fraud detection, as well as damage assessments. And IT developers are able to use AI for code generation, testing automation, and debugging programs. AI can also monitor your computer systems for security threats and performance issues.
The fear of being replaced tends to creep into AI conversations. What did respondents have to say about that?
Yes, so there's been numerous scary headlines out there, asserting that AI is a threat to white-collar jobs and these roles are going to be obsolete in the coming decade. But it's really important to bear in mind that the human element is still a crucial component, and many industry leaders view AI as a way to reshape and assist the current workforce, not eliminate it. Survey participants echo that sentiment. We've got 37% saying that staff will be redeployed to higher value work, in addition to 30% that say there will not be any material change to staffing. Insurance roles really require judgment, critical thinking, and accountability, and that's something that AI simply cannot fully replicate.
How are insurers saying they'll measure their AI investments against the results?
So a return on investment can be difficult to measure at this stage. The technology is still relatively new, and cost benefits will likely take years to materialize. Only 13% of survey respondents felt very confident in their organization's ability to accurately develop an AI ROI measurement. So far, what we're seeing, though, is improvement in workforce productivity and satisfaction has seen the biggest impact, with 63% of respondents reporting a small improvement, in addition to another 11% reporting a significant improvement. There's also been a prominent improvement in efficiency regarding improved expense ratio and automation, as 49% of respondents noted a small improvement and 10% noted a significant improvement.
Thanks, Kaitlin. Edin.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
That was Edin Imsirovic, Director, and Kaitlin Piasecki, Industry Research Analyst, both of AM Best. You can find the full report online at ambest.com. For AM Best TV, I'm John Weber.